stand for fantasy football franchise. Talking about that guy, Hoogie Tyler every week. Heavy analytics, competition real steep. Whoa, that's sweet. Oh, in this belief. Nick so sick, man, bringing ships the whole fleet. Goats, not sheep. Follow every tweet. Don't sleep, always finding sleepers on the street, boy. F3, winning every single league. Money back guaranteed, but it's free. Welcome to the franchise. Welcome to the franchise. Let's go.
All right, welcome back to the F3 podcast. My name is Sean. You can find me on Twitter at Lanny1925. I am here with my co-host Joey.
I'm Joey the Tooth IDP. How you doing?
And we're here with Andrew as well, with the worst Twitter handle in the world.
At DubsFans02.
Boom.
What's up? What's
Boom.
up?
How you guys doing this week?
Good. How about you?
Doing really well, actually. I crushed it in my leagues this week. Things went really well for me, way better than week one. So, yeah, we got a ton of news to get through for week one. We're just going to kind of roll through it all and talk about dynasty implications and basically what to do with all the situations. So, Joey, you want to kick us off with something here?
Ben Roethlisberger going on IR.
Yeah, he didn't just go on IR, but it's like a 18-week injury, so he might just be done for his career.
So, I don't think he comes back. He was ready to retire 2 years ago.
That was my initial reaction, but I read that they think he's coming back. I don't know.
But why?
Yeah. That team's not really going anywhere anytime soon, I don't think.
I think so. No, go ahead.
No. After you, Andrew. You got the hot takes there.
I mean, I'll go.
So,
right.
like, I think, and this is just speculation, but I think that him threatening to retire was just a bargaining chip, right, to get a better, because he was holding out for a contract or something, right? He wanted to extension on his contract. So I don't think he actually wanted to retire. I think he wants to be remembered like the Tom Brady's and Peyton Manning's of the world, right? And so I don't think he's going to be satisfied if he doesn't win another Super Bowl. And I'm not saying he's going to. I could see him, vainly believing that he could come back and do that. I really don't think it's going to happen.
He's pulling the Eli Manning.
Yeah, I think he's gonna limp into the sunset, I think.
Okay. I guess I have no faith in Ben Roethlisberger coming back in any real meaningful manner. I think, yeah, it's possible, but realistically, like, if he comes back, it's not going to be for long. I think that they're trying to get a sense of what they can do with Mason Rudolph. And, yeah, they just traded away their first-round pick this year for Minkah Fitzpatrick. But, I think they want to look at Mason Rudolph. And if he's not the guy, then they're moving on.
Didn't they just trade their other backup, Josh Dobbs?
Josh Dobbs, yeah.
To was that the Jacksonville?
Yeah, they already knew he wasn't the future there.
They kind of gave up on him, I think.
Really? I thought they had hopes for him.
At one point, they did.
Yeah, but then you learn and you figure out that your guys are not as good as what you hoped they would be.
Doesn't he have like a degree in like aerospace engineering or something?
So it's something crazy. He's incredibly smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
so
just not
he'll
good
land
at
on his feet.
Just not good at quarterback. So, how about you, Andrew? You got somebody for me?
Danny Dimes.
Boom.
Daniel Jones.
Get the start.
I was going to say, for those of you who don't know him as Danny Dimes, because literally nobody knows him as that, we're talking Daniel Jones here.
Man,
who,
if you don't know him as Danny Dimes, you're about to get schooled.
Then you haven't been paying attention.
Daniel Jones is not good at football. He's just not. I'm sorry.
He's the epitome of the preseason hero.
He was.
He
had like 88% completion
Don't
rate.
care.
And didn't he have like a perfect passer rating in preseason as well?
Yeah.
None of that matters to me. He's not.
It's
He
gonna
had a
be.
great.
I'm
So
gonna feel really bad when he goes in and he faces the Buccaneers, and they're just gonna tear him to shreds.
so
Their
so,
defense isn't even that good, and they're still going to tear him to shreds.
so Sean,
Their passing defense
is
good.
he better at quarterback in the year 2019 than Eli Manning?
That I don't know. They're both pretty bad. So we're talking fantasy here. Like fantasy-wise, I'm not interested in either of them. Right now, if I had any Daniel Jones shares, which I don't, I would be selling them because I think you can get something for him right now. As far as people around the rest of the team, I think this probably helps because they're going to simplify the offense. They're going to try and make everything efficient. Maybe not explosive, but efficient. And I think this probably helps Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. Maybe not Evan Ingram because Eli Manning just loved Evan Ingram. So it might hurt Evan Ingram, but then when Golden Tate comes back, I think it probably helps him too. I think those shares probably get a slight bump, but I don't think it's going to be good.
I'm holding on to him. I actually have a share with him, but it's in a super flex league, and I have Trubisky as one of my starters.
Trubisky is straight up garbage. He's absolutely terrible.
Yeah, no, he what do you have? 120 passing yards last week.
I mean, that's not uncommon for him. That's just kind of what he does.
I know.
So, yeah, I don't know.
At least he makes up for it with all the passing touchdowns, though, right?
Oh, my God. Nah, Trubisky's trash. And, like, as much as I don't like to root against players, I like to root against fan bases. And the Bears fan base this year has been, not this year, this past offseason, was just unbearable. Absolutely unbearable. And so, like, I'm happy to see them suffer.
They've got a kicker now. Eddie Pinheiro was great.
God.
So am I the only one that didn't know the Bears won until like the next day? Because like the last update I saw was the Broncos going ahead with 30 seconds left, and I was like, oh, okay, that game's over. I had no idea they came back, and apparently there's all this like laundry and.
Yeah, they got bailed out.
Oh.
Yeah, but roughing a passer call.
Yeah, that was terrible. Terrible
It was
call.
bad. It was a horrible call.
I mean, it's just the reality of the NFL now is like, those are the rules. It sucks, but it's just the way it is. So you got to live with it. And Bears got bailed out on those calls. They were probably technically by the rule the right calls, but they're not good calls either way.
No.
So, what do we got next, guys?
Let's see. Drew Brees also going down.
Yeah, Breeze, as far as I know, I think has the same injury that Stafford had a couple of years ago, where he was wearing the Mickey Mouse white glove on his hand.
Yeah. Oh boy.
He was like in the he was in the MVP conversation before that happened. So Breeze is taking some time off. We got Bridgewater, Taysom Hill. What do you guys think there?
Before we respond to that, can I just ask? Can we get a soundboard and get that oh boy so we can use that every episode? I really want to get a soundboard so that we can pump that into every episode.
I'm not paying a couple $100 to get your oh boy in every episode.
We'll just have to talk to our producer there.
Yeah, you can just do it over there too. Like you can just do the oh boy. I'm just fine.
I'll pick a random spot.
I think Bridgewater looked really inefficient and lost out there. And I know the Rams have a good defense. It's still, it makes me really, really worry about all the other skill position players in that offense, which should have been, as usual, a top tier offense.
Yeah.
I think this is probably going to, over the course of the year, create a buy window for Alvin Kamara. Because I think he's going to struggle in an offense that doesn't produce as well as it did before. Because they're going to be running the ball less. And I think that Michael Thomas will probably soak up a lot of the targets. I think the other players on that offense will probably be far less A, efficient, B, volume. Because they're not going to get as many first downs. They're not going to move the chains as offense. They're just going to get less volume. and I think it's gonna create buy windows. So I think Alvin Kamara is someone that I'm kind of like waiting on, and just like give it 2-3 weeks, and hopefully he struggles and you can just go in and buy him.
Yeah,
Speaking of buy windows, sorry, go ahead, because I'm
I
going
was
to go
gonna
into
say-
a different direction.
Yeah, I just don't see, like, from a dynasty standpoint, I don't see anybody panicking and selling Kamara for dirt just because Breeze is out for 6 weeks. Like, I don't know. Maybe I think in that regard, I am the exception as far as dynasty owners, in that I don't panic and I stay the course. I've got a plan and I try to see it out and I don't overreact. So maybe I'm the exception and maybe people will, but I don't know. Like, he's just so good at football that
Oh, yeah.
I figure they're gonna figure a way to keep him productive. Maybe not in the short term, but over the course of the season and going forward.
Let's say you have 2-3 weeks where they score maybe like where Kamara gets you like 6, 9, and 3. Like, let's just say that happens where they're just getting their offense is just not moving the football, and the 3 is obviously like not likely, but the 6 points, 9 points, and maybe like an 8 thrown in there, like that Kamara owner might be getting antsy, especially if they're a contender. I don't know. I think you could get a buy window in the next couple weeks.
It's crazy to see how bad people overreact in fantasy, because I've seen people already selling Mike Evans for dirt just because of 2 games where Chris Godwin outproduced him and he had 2 bad games, one of which he was sick for. I saw one trade. It was somebody traded Mike Evans for DK Metcalf and like a third.
See, and that's the thing where it's like, yeah, that's not the right move, but people make that move. So
Right.
That's what I'm talking about when
Yeah,
I'm saying
yeah.
buy windows, is like, this is, give it a week, give it 2 weeks. Kamara struggles a little bit. Start shopping around. Check it out.
Mhm.
See, I don't think I'm giving up DK in that scenario.
Oh my God.
Stay the course.
Just the absolute worst. All right, let's go one more and then we'll take a break. What do we got?
We've got Sammy Mono.
Did you guys see the graphic with just like Sam Darnold like pointing at the camera dramatically and just says out indefinitely with mononucleosis?
Oh my gosh.
I like better was the girl that brought the sign to the game that said, "I gave Sam Darnold mono."
I like the meme of Belichick just laughing where it was like, yeah, we sent Demaryius
Demaryius,
Thomas over
yeah.
there knowing that he had mono. Just the Trojan horse. No, those are all good. Darnold will be back, obviously. We don't know when. Trevor Siemian went down with ligament damage, and then we got Luke Falk, who is not good at football. His stat line looked okay, but it wasn't pretty. It was like the stat line was very misleading compared to what was actually happening in the football game. And I think you try and play a full game the way that he played after he went in, and it's not going to be pretty.
To be fair, he looked better than Simeon did. He looked terrible.
Yeah, but Simeon was trying to win the game, where Luke Falk was just throwing dump-offs to Le'Veon Bell like a yard behind the line of scrimmage and stuff. I think that either way, both of these things are bad news, and both of our darlings from before the season, Jamison Crowder and Robbie Anderson, are down for the count until Darnold comes back, and then Robbie Anderson still sucks, and Jamison Crowder's still a beast.
Come on, he doubled Crowder's yards and targets this week.
This week, yeah, with Trevor Siemian.
Right. It was mostly with Falk, I think.
Either way, it doesn't matter. They're both trash, and they're not. Darnold's coming back, and
Robbie's gonna light it up.
I'm just throwing out there, Jamison Crowder, 17 targets in his 1 game with Darnold.
I know, that was pretty badass.
That was pretty badass.
Didn't you guys hear Booger say that he liked Falk's leadership and really thought that they looked good after Falk came in?
That's true. He did say something about his leadership. We should probably trade first-round picks for him.
I think so.
So yeah, I don't know. I think this is bad for everybody. I think Le'Veon Bell is going to see a lot more receptions, but it's still going to be inefficient. Where like, if you're not moving the chains, you're not getting rushing attempts, and
Right.
if you're not moving the chains, you're getting less passing attempts, which means less receptions, regardless of your target
Just
share.
less time on the
So,
field.
Yeah, I think he's
Less good.
he's just not going to be any better. And also, like, Le'Veon Bell running the football has not looked sharp so far.
No.
And we talked about this before the beginning of the year. Like, Le'Veon Bell is like the super cliche patient runner, but at the same time, like, that only works if you have a good offensive line, and I don't know that the Jets do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm not happy with anything on the Jets offense right now. Chris Herndon's coming back, and I don't think that changes anything.
No. Gotta wait for Sam.
Yep. You guys got anything else to say about the Jets offense?
It's
Nope.
terrible.
It's terrible.
That-
All right.
That's just it.
Well, sum it up with that.
Didn't Booger also say that Gates was an offensive guru? Is that did I understand that correctly?
Gates
Yeah, I think that-
terrible.
That's really shown through the first 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I'm talking about his
Gates
entire
is so overrated as a
his
coach. How does he
entire
keep
time
getting a
in
job?
Miami.
I don't know. It's not gonna last though. He's not gonna
Oh,
last over in New
gosh.
York. This is a 1 maybe 2 year deal, and if they give him 2, they're making a mistake.
Plus, he needs to lay off the booger sugar. His freaking eyes are always popping out of his head.
One more thing about the Jets though was did you see Greg Williams' comments about OBJ, and then his defense got absolutely roasted by OBJ.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh
loved
my God.
the angel formation with Marcus Williams off the screen and like you watch the all 22
Marcus May.
or Marcus May, yeah, sorry. You watch the all 22
Yeah.
and Marcus May is off the screen. He's like 10 yards off the screen, and it's just like, yep, this is
Greg
exactly
Williams.
why this didn't work over in Cleveland last year.
Oh my
But
gosh.
not only was he like not in good position, but did you see his pursuit angle? He actually ran away from OBJ.
Yep, saw
To-
that.
He didn't run away from him. He ran past him, and I'm still confused.
Did you
by
see
that,
how
but it's
long it
better
took him
than
to turn his head?
Yeah, it was bad.
He ran by him, just kept looking. Like, what are you
It was
looking at?
bad, and I like Marcus May. I have no idea
I
what
know.
happened there. All right, we're gonna take a short break, and then we're gonna be back to talk some more Dynasty news and repercussions of week 2. And we are back, and Joey wants to talk 49ers. I'm absolutely shocked.
Come on, they blew out Cincy. I know it's Cincy, but 40-17. They look great outside of Dante Pettis.
Yeah, that's super sad. I'm a big Dante Pettis fan, and
I know.
I have him a lot of places, and this is super disappointing for me.
I don't know what's going on there.
I don't think anybody does. Like, he's, quote, in the doghouse, but, like, what does that mean? What did he do to get in the doghouse? He looked good last year.
So I didn't know. I just checked for the show. He had the second most snaps of wide receivers on the team, and so like Joey and I were talking. Maybe it's game script where they got up big, right, and they just throw him in the game late. He didn't get that many targets. Is it?
I don't think he had any targets, did he? He just threw a pass.
Yeah.
So is he in the Shanahan doghouse, or is he in the Garoppolo doghouse, or
I think it's with Shanahan.
It seems to me like all the stuff that happened before the season that everyone just kind of wrote off as nothing, myself included, like
Is legit.
is real. And also second most snaps, I think he only played 49% of snaps. So like
Yeah.
second most snaps is not significant. They're just rotating everybody, and Pettis is just getting nothing.
Yeah. Debo is the guy to own there for wide receivers. Definitely. Debo looked great.
We knew Debo was going to look great.
Yeah.
Right? He was a great prospect. He's a good wide
I thought it was
receiver.
going to take a little longer with Pettis.
I did too. So are you buying low on Pettis, or are you out on him?
I think I'm still going to buy low. I mean,
think so, too.
he's only in the second year of his rookie deal. So he still has more time with the system. I mean, it's not like Goodwin's going to stay forever. He's got, what, one more year after this?
Plus, he's not that good, in my opinion.
Right.
He's
so,
fast.
I mean, What do you have after that? Trent Taylor. Trent Taylor's good. Kendrick Bourne,
Rich James.
Yep.
Richie James. I mean, if Pettis can get his shit together, can easily become the number 2 again. He's got all the skill.
I guess I don't understand how his shit's not together. That's the problem.
don't.
Where, like, what if his shit is together and the 49ers just don't like him for some
I
reason?
wonder if he's just having a tough time with Shanahan's playbook. I mean, it is a little more at times, like the routes and whatnot are sometimes a little more.
He
He's
had
a
it at
good
the end
ru-
of last season.
Yeah,
That's true.
he's a good route runner, and he had it last year. So it doesn't make any sense to me. I think I'm buying. I'm doubling down. Like,
So I'm not buying, but I'm not selling because it's too low to sell. I'm holding. I'm just
okay,
waiting it
but
out.
for you, if it's too low to sell, is it still too high to buy? Because, like, for me, there are very few situations where, like, it's too low to sell, but I also won't buy at that price point. For me, like, I would buy if it's too low to sell for me.
So like, what do you think it takes to get Pettis right now?
Not much. Most everybody just seems to have given up on him.
Yeah, I mean, I would go as high as like a mid to late second, and I think that gets it done easily. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe he's still valued higher than that, but like if you could sell for a late first, high second, you're selling, right?
I would.
Late first for sure.
High second, you selling. It's like 203.
Probably yes.
Okay.
But you know me, I love draft picks.
Okay, so mid second, are you selling?
What did he cost in rookie drafts? I don't think I drafted him in any rookie drafts. So
I drafted him in a ton. He was like mid to late second ish, somewhere in there.
yeah. So I don't know. That seems
Does it
like
matter
about
though? That's sunk cost. It doesn't matter what you paid.
To me it still matters to an extent.
Why?
Just I'm not giving
It
up on a
weighs on
guy
his brain.
for less than I put into him this early. That's why I said he's a hold. I don't know that I believe in him enough that I'm selling. Sorry, that I'm buying. That I'm actually spending resources to acquire him because I'm not like that certain he's gonna figure it out. But I just feel like.
But if your price point is a mid second and you would sell him for a mid second, would you buy him for like a late second?
Probably not.
See, and that's interesting to me. So if you won't buy him for a late second, would you sell him for a late second?
That's probably right in the area where it becomes it depends on a bunch of other factors too, right? Team construction and yeah.
So your equilibrium is a late second.
I think so.
And I'm buying all day there, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Well, okay. Deebo Samuel, what are you paying for him right now?
He's gonna cost you more than a first.
He is. Honestly, I don't think I'm buying him yet. He's gonna cost too much money right now. If you didn't draft him in your rookie draft, it's kind of one of those just let him go.
Yeah, and I guess like for me, I had him as my 104.
Yeah.
That's where I had him graded originally, and so like I have him everywhere because nobody took him at 104.
Right.
So like anywhere he was falling to right around like the 110 to 112 range.
I think that's where I got him was in like 112, I think.
Yeah, and like I got him everywhere I had a first round pick. It was just, and like if he was falling to 111, 112, I was trading into the first round. So I think I have him in 10 out of 11 leagues. I'm very happy with that right now.
Yeah.
All right. Richie James, Trent Taylor, either of them interest you?
Trent Taylor to a degree. I mean, he has good chemistry with Garoppolo, but he needs to get himself back onto the field.
See, and those are guys that if they're on the waiver wire, I'm interested. They were both guys I really like coming out of college, so I already acquired them everywhere if I don't have them.
Right.
Because I dropped them. So at this point, basically, they're just kind of holds for me or they're on the waiver wire, and that's just where it is. So.
Exactly.
I'm not buying.
Yeah, no, definitely not buying. I don't see a situation.
Not even off the waiver.
Not even off the waiver. Okay. No. Interesting. Yeah, I don't see a situation where you're going to want to start them. It's more a situation where people get antsy and they see him put up a good week and they're willing to pay a third round pick for somebody, you know?
Right.
And in that case, I'm definitely selling for a third round pick because
Oh God, yes.
it's all lottery tickets where like you have this guy, you don't ever plan on starting him, sell him for a third round pick and use the pick on somebody that you hope you can start at some point.
See, I don't think I play in leagues with guys that are just throwing third round picks away like you guys, because I feel like I don't know. I try to make some moves to acquire picks with like depth level guys, and people aren't biting.
So like what depth level guys are you trying to drop? Because I feel like third round picks are very rarely tough to acquire.
Huh. I've been trying to get like fourth round picks.
For what? Though what do you
Uh,
offer?
well, recently I put out a flyer for Damian Wilson, Chiefs linebacker, starting linebacker.
Okay, so you're talking IDP. IDP is a little different because it all depends on scoring.
Yeah,
Um, let's talk offense. What would you be offering to try and get a third round pick?
I'd probably give up Devin Funchess right now for a third.
Saying nobody wants that, but like Adrian Peterson, what are you looking? Would you
Oh,
take a third?
I would take a third all day for Adrian Peterson. Yeah, no
Okay,
I
question.
would too.
and I think there are people that are willing to give a third round pick for Adrian Peterson if they're in a competing league with deeper rosters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like if I'm in a league where I got two flexes and my second flex is Deshaun Hamilton, which is unfortunately a situation that I'm in right now. And the rest of my team is competing. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll drop a third round pick for AP because, I'm only going to get 1 year out of it. But the chances of your third round pick working out to being something productive are low enough that like getting somebody who you can compete with now and who can actually help your points per game now is actually worthwhile.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a question for you. Sorry, we're getting a little bit off topic, but I want to run this by you anyway.
Yeah, we don't have topics, so.
So I had a guy offer me Delaney Walker for a third last week because I'm a little thin at I'm pretty thin at tight end, and I was kind of like seriously, like that's trash. Like I didn't even consider that for a second, and he was like insulted that I wouldn't give up a third for Delaney Walker.
So here's the thing. It all depends on what your tight end situation looks like. But if Delaney Walker,
And if you're competitive.
right, if you're competing and a player helps your points per game on a weekly basis, third round pick is a very reasonable price to pay for that because you're paying for this year basically, and your third round pick next year, odds of that actually being valuable are very low. Like guys do not come out of the third round of rookie drafts and actually help you produce on a week-to-week basis very often. It's
Right.
a very, very, very low hit rate. So for me, third round picks are very disposable as long as they're contributing to victories this year. And that's just kind of how I go into it, where like second round picks, you're looking at guys that may contribute this year, maybe long-term dynasty assets. First round picks, you're looking at dynasty assets. Third round picks, you're just trying to get production for this year generally, because nobody's selling a dynasty asset for a third round pick, but teams that are trying to rebuild, like someone like Adrian Peterson, holds no value to them, whereas they might help your points per game by like 2-3 points per game, which could end up yielding a victory for you.
Right.
And I don't know. That's just kind of how I look at it. But what do we got for the next piece of news here?
We're going to talk about the Ravens offense, just their how explosive they've been and how incredible Lamar Jackson has looked.
Yeah.
That was good for a running back, right?
I love that comment. That was really good.
Yeah.
I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. I definitely lost faith in him last year. Shame on me. But I don't know that I buy that this offense is sustainable. I don't know that anybody buys that this is sustainable. I think it's definitely better than we thought it was going to be going into the year. But like, do you guys really think that this is going to be like a high octane offense for the rest of the year?
I'm loving what Hollywood Brown adds to the team.
Yeah, we were both Hollywood fans, so
Yeah.
like, we knew he was a good player we questioned whether or not he was going to be able to get the volume and the type of looks that we're going to produce.
Yeah,
And it
they're
appears
using just like he was used in college. It's great.
it looks great. He's not getting the snap share that I want to see yet. It's up there, but it's not quite where you want it. But I think that that's kind of a product of him being young, and and also like a large part of it is that week one they got to bench all their starters because they were playing Miami and blew them the hell out.
Well, plus he was injured a lot of the offseason too.
Yeah, he was coming
Liz
back.
Frank, was it?
Yeah, which is a brutal injury. But the good news is it doesn't look like it's affected him. So yeah, I'm all in on Marquise. I think Miles Boykin is probably a buy low right now because I honestly think that if they're going to commit to throwing the football at any sort of level, Miles Boykin is going to be an answer there.
Yeah.
He was always a raw prospect, so it was going to take him some time. Whereas Marquise Brown, like, there's an immediate role for a player like that. Boykin had to clean some things up first, but I think Boykin's probably a buy because the offense looks better than it did, and I think that he's a better player than he gets credit for, and I think he's going to have a role in that offense at some point.
Mark Andrews has looked great.
Yeah. Oh man.
I mean, he's
so
obviously
happy about that.
Yeah, I think he was that guy that most people in the offseason were like, yeah, he's going to have a good year. He's the only person that Lamar Jackson targeted last year.
I mean, he had a good year last year. And, like, everyone should have been on him in the pre-draft process because they drafted Hayden Hurst first, but Mark Andrews was always the better receiving option.
It's one of those, like, it doesn't always happen like that where everybody's in on a guy and then the next year he actually produces. Sometimes it's just like Dante Pettis. A lot of people are in on him and then nothing. Yep. Mark Andrews just like he had so many people high him. He's like, "You guys, I got your back. I got this. I got this."
No, Mark Andrews. Honestly, like, despite the price that he's probably going for right now, he's a buy, especially in tight end premium.
Yeah.
So I'm totally in on Mark Andrews. Luckily, I already have, I think, 7 out of 11 shares of him, so nice. I don't really have to buy him anywhere. Ian Thomas is another guy that I've got in a lot of places just because Greg Olson's going to retire at some point, and I think Ian Thomas is good enough that he just takes over, and I think he'll be one of those guys that we'll be talking about like Mark Andrews next year. So totally in on that. Where are we at on Justice Hill?
I mean, even when they were blowing out whoever it was week one. Who was it week one?
Miami.
They blew out. Miami. Yeah. Gus Edwards got the carries. Hill didn't even really see too much time.
See, and that mentality right there is kind of why I want to buy him. Because I believe in the talent. I believe in his skill set. I believe that his skill set fits the offense really well. I believe that Gus Edwards is just a guy, and I believe that Mark Ingram is not long for the Ravens, like long term. So,
what was the contract that Mark Ingram got? Any idea?
I don't know. Biddy's the one on his computer, so we'll have him check this out real quick. But
so what I was looking up, and maybe you guys can answer this, was what was the Mark Ingram injury? I'm gonna look up the contract, but what was the injury? Because he left the game briefly, didn't he?
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure. I want to say hip, but I could be completely wrong.
A hip injury. Did he come back into the game?
I'm pretty sure he did, yeah.
So his contract was 3 year, $15 million. And so that's a 2019 cap hit of 3.3 mil, 2020 at 5.3, and 2021 at 6.3.
So yeah, the
shoulder, I'm sorry.
It's a 2-year contract because basically after 2020 they'll be paying him $6.3 million with 1.3 in dead cap. So basically they save $5 million by cutting him, which makes sense because they have a rookie running back. So basically you use Mark Ingram for a year, and then next year he's kind of like they're still pretty cheap, $5 million-ish. And if you believe in your rookie, you play him. If you don't, then you still have Mark Ingram, and then the year after that, basically, you have a complete out. He's still pretty affordable, but if you want to draft somebody else, you can too. So yeah, it's a 2-year deal, and just the way that the Ravens play football, I think they're going to try and mix Justice Hill in at some point. I think his receiving skills and his skills in space are far too effective to keep him on the bench for long. And I think that he's dirt cheap right now, just based on the fact that he isn't playing and the mentality that you have, Joey.
Yeah.
I did read that Gus Edwards' role was reduced week 2. So I think the week 1 role was basically just because of the big blowout, like you guys mentioned.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back for the last round of news and repercussions.
Cool.
All right, we're back for the last round of news and notes here before we finish up the show. I kind of want to start with Mecole Hardman and Demarcus Robinson. You guys want to start with that?
I think they're both 1 week wonders.
1 week? Really?
Well, especially Demarcus Robinson. I really don't think. Oh man, I just don't see it being sustainable. I think that.
Well, okay, no, like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns is not sustainable. We know that, but is he going to be productive? He's on waiver.
Yes, but I don't think he's the guy that you want to own. I think it's Sammy Watkins still, even though he had a light week. And then I think Tyreek's coming back. So I think long term, Mecole's the guy you want between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think short term, I'm not in any leagues where I'm that desperate, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, it's possible somebody's desperate enough. And I think he's going to get, I think Robinson probably gets, 3-ish targets per game the rest of the way. Maybe 4.
After Tyreek comes back.
After Tyreek comes back, he might get 3. Like, I think that's optimistic. I don't think he's getting.
No, that's fair. Before Tyreek comes back, though.
Yeah, it's still like 4, maybe 5 targets, and he was ultra productive this week with them.
So if Mahomes is throwing 35 times a game, you figure Kelsey gets 10.
Yep.
Sammy gets at least 10.
Sammy gets 10. You got 15 targets up for grabs. Where are they going?
Running backs.
Okay.
And then split up between Hardman and Robinson.
Okay, that's fair.
But I'm going to buy Hardman. Personally.
I'm absolutely buying Hardman. I think this is a tough time to buy because he just came off a good week. I think everyone missed their window to buy him as soon as Tyreek Hill went out. Right. Especially after Tyreek Hill went out and then Hardman didn't do anything the rest of week 1. I think that was the ideal time to buy Mecole Hardman. I think you should have drafted him in your rookie drafts. Right. I think that was a no-brainer. But, Demarcus Robinson is someone where, like, if I'm sitting on a deep roster and I have somebody that's just dead weight, then yeah, I'm definitely picking up Robinson because I think he's on waiver wires most leagues. Yeah. So yeah, pick him up, and if things don't work out with Mecole Hardman, he might have trade value to a team that loses a wide receiver, or if Tyreek Hill's out a little later. And like when you're talking trade value, you're talking like back end. You're looking for a 4th round pick, and it's like, yeah, I'm never going to use this guy. Somebody else might get whatever I can for him. So yeah, no, Mecole Hardman's definitely the one to own there, but yeah, Robinson might hold some short-term value here just because of pure passing volume over in Kansas City. Cam Newton down.
That sucks.
Doesn't look good, man.
I mean, he didn't look good at all while he was there anyway, but
no, he was trash while he was there.
Terrible.
And I think that...
And he looked like a grandmother in his press conference.
So I didn't see him week 1. Didn't he look better week 1?
He didn't look good week 1 either.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think he looked good either week.
I think he needs to rehab that shoulder pretty bad. I honestly don't think he's back from it.
I don't know if he'll ever be back from it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but people said that about Luck too, and he came back.
And retired.
Yeah, but Luck came back and looked good when he came back. Like, he looked bad in preseason and then was just fine last year. You know?
Right.
Cam doesn't look fine. So the biggest hit that this is is to Christian McCaffrey, because
Absolutely.
realistically, if that offense isn't moving, he's not getting volume.
Right.
And if they start falling behind, he's getting less volume. And that's rough for Christian McCaffrey. As far as like Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, like they're both insignificant without Cam Newton, I think. And with Cam Newton in his current state, I think they're both insignificant. They may have some good weeks. Like I think DJ Moore had a good week 1. Curtis Samuel had a decent week 2. Right, but you don't want to start either of them.
Right.
Like
No.
you don't feel comfortable with it. So I think long term this is really going to hurt everybody on that offense, just because like we don't know what's happening next. And sounds like Will Grier is not the answer week 3 when Cam's out.
Kyle Allen, is it?
Yeah, and that's bad for everyone. So
Yeah.
they're gonna be playing from behind probably. They're gonna be throwing the football a lot, but like without a boost in efficiency, I don't think that it's gonna matter.
Is that who came in last year for Cam? Was it Kyle Allen?
I think so, yeah. Isn't it?
Don't even remember, to be honest. That's how insignificant it was.
Well, Greg Olson will probably get targeted a decent amount, but he's probably going to get injured because he's old.
Greg Oldson.
Yeah, that was clever.
Oh, wow. I've never thought of that one
nice.
before.
All right, with that, moving on. Michael Gallup down for a couple of weeks. We apparently have Devin Smith filling in. Either of you guys care?
Not me.
Not really, no. Maybe in the
Yeah.
16 team and I lost a receiver. Maybe just like a 1 week filler.
Even then, don't care.
Yeah.
I was interested in Gallup, but I'm not interested in Smith.
Right.
Yeah, I think.
And it doesn't do anything for me really for anybody else in the team either. I think that the game plan stays the same.
Oh, I think it bumps Cooper's value because I think
maybe
they
Cooper,
were splitting a lot of those deep targets, right? And so I think Cooper's going to get a bigger share of those targets that were going to Gallup before.
Yeah, I mean, Devin Smith's a speedster, though. I think that's why he's the one.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure it helps anybody. I think right now Dak has been so efficient that it's not sustainable. And as well as he's been playing, I don't think that Devin Smith stepping in is going to do anything for anybody.
Right.
I think like while we were on break, we talked about it. And I think Zeke is probably the biggest beneficiary here.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke.
Zeke.
Well, he's back in the full effect now, so he'll probably get more than what did he get last week? 23 carries. I think he'll get either that or a little more.
I think he'll probably sit right around there. I think he'll sit in the 15 to 22 range, but I think he'll probably see more targets with Gallup out.
Joey, did you say you think he's going to get more than 23 carries?
I can see it. I can totally see it.
I don't at all.
He might get more than that twice this year. Maybe.
I know.
He's not going to average.
We went over it. I know. Just till Gallup comes back.
You're nuts. You are.
He is nuts. Absolutely. CJ Anderson, cut by the Lions, supposed to be the RB2, was supplanted by 6th-round pick Ty Johnson. They signed Paul Perkins in the corresponding move. Any interest?
Nope.
I do.
Maybe Ty Johnson, but that's it for me.
You're interested in him as a possible flex, or are you just holding him in case of emergency?
In case of Kerryon Johnson, not even emergency. Kerryon Johnson goes down in this offense. They're either turning to Ty Johnson or Paul Perkins.
Right. And
I don't think Ty Johnson is a volume runner. So if Kerryon Johnson goes down, I think Paul Perkins gets a significant workload there.
So
they've been splitting the carries anyway, almost 50-50. Kerryon hasn't really gotten that majority workload that we all thought he might get this year.
Nobody thought that. We got Bevel coming from Seattle. He was never going to get the workload. We thought it was going to be him splitting with CJ Anderson, which it was week 1. And then week 2 is Ty Johnson. Week 3, they cut CJ Anderson and they signed Paul Perkins, which indicates to me that A, they didn't like CJ Anderson, obviously. B, they thought that maybe they could sign somebody else that might be able to carry a workload if Kerryon goes down.
So do you like Paul Perkins based on what you saw of him in college or what you saw of him in New York? Because
nobody liked what they saw him in New York, but their offensive line was garbage. He didn't get a full workload over there, and then they drafted Saquon, and he was down for the count, and that's just the way it was.
He lost the
And
job when Gallman came in.
Gallman was never really the starter there either, though.
Yeah, but he got more work than Perkins.
Yeah,
Perkins had the job locked up, and then he just failed
I don't think
miserably.
I don't think Gallman's a bad running back either, though. Like
No.
they're both guys that you don't want starting, but they kind of just fill in and they take what the defense gives them. For me, like if everyone was like okay with CJ Anderson on their bench, why are they not okay with Paul Perkins when the Lions just cut CJ for Paul Perkins?
I'm not saying I'm not okay with it. I'm just like I'm not excited about it. Like even if Carrion goes down, it's like, well, maybe he'll get you 7 points, like in a pinch. Is that I don't know, like that's not
See, and I think if Carrion goes down, they see a 50-50 work split in an offense that's designed to run the football.
okay.
And I think that's valuable.
What's your best case scenario for like average yardage per game, let's say?
All right, let's say he gets 60 yards rushing and 4 receptions for, I don't know, 30 yards. So you're looking at 9 points with no touchdowns. No, you're looking at 12 points with no touchdowns.
How many rushes is he getting to get 60 yards? Because I'm not giving him much more than 4 yards per carry. You're giving him 15 carries. That's 50% of the workload. They're rushing 30 times per game.
I guess 12. Give him 12 carries.
5 yards per carry, huh?
I think you could look at 4.5 probably.
Perkins?
I'm not saying Perkins specifically. I'm just saying that you look at guys like Raheem Mostert this week.
Right.
Which we'll move into the next spot. How many? He put up 25 points with like 10 carries, and that's just totally based on getting a guy in the lineup and giving him a chance to get yards. And when you go to an offense like the Lions, where they want to run the football, and your other option is a speedster home run threat, like there's a good chance you get some volume, and there's a better chance you get some goal line carries.
You said Mostert, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you comparing Darren Bevel's offense to Kyle Shanahan's offense? Like
No,
the running lanes?
The efficiency, no. I'm just saying that you get guys out there and you put them in situations where they get the football and you're running the ball and you can put up points. You're looking for guys that are getting volume, that are getting playing time.
The Lions aren't putting guys in position to run the ball well, though. The Niners do put guys in space where they can run. The Lions do not.
I don't know. What was Carrion's stat line this past week?
I think Carrion's a vastly superior talent, but let's...
He is, absolutely. But I also don't think that talent matters all that much at running back.
I think in that offense, it does.
I don't think it does. I honestly don't think that talent matters as much unless you're looking at the elite talents. And again,
I mean, obviously it does because they didn't think CJ Anderson was good enough.
Well, no, you're always looking to improve your roster and stuff. But this is not me saying that Paul Perkins is good. This is not me saying that Paul Perkins is going to light the world on fire. This is me saying that, like, as a back end bench option with a running back that ahead of him that has a history of injuries, like, if you can get a running back that has a chance to get volume if the running back ahead of him gets hurt and that person is injury prone, I think that's worth picking up on the back end of your bench.
Carrion went 12 for 41, 3.4 yards per carry.
Okay. 2 weeks, 28 carries for 90 yards.
Yeah, no, that's not great, for sure.
Not great.
What do you do receiving?
He had 2 for 47. What was a 36-yard touchdown run.
And 3 targets.
Yeah.
5 targets in 2 games. You throw Perkins in that workload,
you're not getting that production.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm buying any running back that has a chance to get volume over the course.
Yeah, volume I get. He might get volume. I can't trust him.
So, all right. Last thing. Speaking of Mostert, Breida, Jeff Wilson. Any interest there? Obviously,
Breida.
Obviously, Breida. How do we feel about Jeff Wilson?
I'd rather have Mostert than Wilson.
I would too. Wilson got some goal line looks last week, but I think it's still Mostert that's going to get definitely more touches. And I still think Mostert and Breda will get some looks in the goal line next week. I don't think Wilson has to plant himself as the goal line back.
I think Wilson just got the looks because it was garbage time because they were
Yeah.
up big and they didn't want to get Breda hurt because he's got a history of getting hurt. He's a smaller guy. Same with Mostert, right? So it's preservation.
Totally fair. So back to the same conversation, knowing that Breida has history of injuries, any interest in Jeff Wilson as, again, like someone you stash on your bench?
No, because Tevin Coleman's coming back some point soon.
Yeah.
I mean, we were looking at, what, week 6 to 8?
It's a high ankle sprain, maybe 5, 6.
And then, yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe we just approach it differently. But for me, like back end bench spots, I really like having running backs that, like, if somebody goes down, I could see them getting work because you don't know when nobody gave a fuck about Damian Williams last year at all. And
I did.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Before he got hurt, why?
I've had him since he was drafted.
Okay, you were holding them just because you had them, but like nobody went into last year looking at Damian Williams being like, yeah, he's gonna be good, you know. Ito Smith, same thing. Like all these guys that eventually carry value, it's just like they're just waiting for an injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess like my point of view, like yeah, you can keep Cole Beasley on your roster, which like. Yeah, Cole Beasley's played well. Do you want to start him? No. So why not keep somebody on your roster, like trade away Cole Beasley for whatever you can get, 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, whatever, and then just hang on to these guys that are just kind of hanging out behind the starters and hope that you get something out of it.
I get it.
Yeah, I don't know Cole Beasley in any leagues either.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been the F3 podcast. You can find us on YouTube at Writer Digest Network. Writer is spelled REITER. You can find our written work at dynastyfootballdigest.com or at idpguys.org. All the articles are free. Otherwise, with $1 a month subscription, you get tools, rankings, offensive ADP, defensive ADP, combined offensive and defensive ADP. You get access to our Slack channel where you can ask us anything. All of our writers and podcasters are in that channel, ready to answer any questions you have. You have access to the trade calculator, which also has defensive players in there, start sit charts, all of the above. And once again, you can find Joey at Joey the Tooth IDP. You can find me at Lanny1925 on Twitter. And then you can find Andrew if you're willing to look for his Twitter handle. You guys got anything else to say?
No, man. That's a good way to end it.
That's fans.
All right. Good show, guys.
All right.
Later.